Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. Today I want to go over all my issues with Arena and the community aspect of things because it does seem like Hearthstone is one of those games where if people are loud enough, if people are right about an issue, things might actually change from complaints. So what are we talking about? Well, Arena, while it's still pretty fun, it's still a pretty cool game mode, I do see it going downhill, and I don't know if it's quite in freefall yet, but I do want to see it bounce back because it is the game mode that I really love to play. I really enjoy it. Why I play Hearthstone Arena is just awesome, and it's a little bit less awesome these days. So what am I talking about? Well, recently, through the statistics given to me by Hearth Arena, we noticed that the win rates from going first versus going second are substantially one-sided, especially compared to those of, in the historic values. So recently, it's much better if you go first. In classes in like Warlock, the marginal win rates are like 20-25% higher if you go first rather than you go second. And historically this is not true. In the earlier stages of Hearthstone, it was not as imbalanced as it is right now. And with the release of the One Night in Karazhan expansion, there were a lot of issues with card balancing that really kind of upset me, and I think upset a lot of the community as well. And I decided to go back, look at some of the cards, look at some of the statistics, and I have a lot of info to share with you guys today regarding that. So my frustrations in this expansion are as follows. Now, keep in mind, these are not like stats from like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. These are my stats, which reflects my experience. And of course, it is a fairly small sample size, but it will give you an idea where I'm coming from with my frustrations. So since the expansion has come out, I've played, I believe it's 17 or 18 arenas, and I have not been offered Mage a single time. The odds of that, let's just say, are quite low. However, I have noticed that I have been playing a ridiculous number of Mage opponents, and, of course, this is anecdotal. It seemed to me like there were more Mages than I've ever seen playing Arena right now. So I decided to look at my stats and see what is going on here. And these are my stats from my Hearth Arena logs, and you can see the games I've played. These are against, so I haven't played Mage. The games played at the bottom. If it were my stats, it would be 0. I haven't been offered Mage since the expansion came out. Some Illuminati going on there, Blizzard. Yeah, I know. And keep in mind my win rate. I don't know exactly what it is right now in this expansion, but in Whispers of the Old Gods, my average wins was 7.5. My win rate is about, 75-76%. Very, very good. I think overall I got quite lucky in that expansion. So you can see some of the games played, and of course the win rates don't really reflect too well when it comes to, when against Priest I only played 3 games, against Hunter only 7 games, 7 Warlock games, 8 Warrior games, 11 Druid games, 13 Shamans, quite a few Shamans, 22 Paladins, that's right, Paladins still a very popular class, 23 Rogues, and then 43 Mage games. 43! That's mind-blowing, man. That is so mind-blowing. If you picked a class every single time it was offered, it would be 33%. So that's literally what it is. Everybody is picking Mage whenever they're being offered Mage in Arena. End of story. It's literally nothing else. But then I wanted to look into it a bit more because it seemed like in the high win games, like when I was at like 7 or 8 wins, I'd go second against the Mage, and it seemed like I never win those games. So I looked at my stats, and yeah, look at that spread. Now keep in mind, this is only 43 games, so it's not like these are the win rates of everybody, but keep in mind, I'm a pretty good Arena player, hopefully, and I've played 43 games, which it's not like a sample size of like 5, and you can see the win rates are, well, optimistically unusual, but I would more realistically call them devastating. So going first, when I go first against a Mage, I will win 78.26% of the time. If I play against a Mage and I go second, my win rate is 45%. 45% versus 78%. Now again, this is a small sample size, and that does produce a large margin of error, but how fucking large could it be? That is unbelievable. That is the most shocking statistic I've seen in all of my games playing Hearthstone ever. Okay, so pretty crazy stuff. And yeah, what is really going on here? It seems to me, and it seems to a few other players, that Mage, because it has so much removal, because every single expansion it gets like some of the best cards ever, that Mage is just right now past the critical spot. Mage is just crushing the other classes in Arena. Even Rogue. I was surprised to see that, my win rate against Rogue is okay. I feel like I do have a chance against Rogue, even at high wins. If I go second, it's possible. But against Mage, I was winning like none of these. And it just felt like a decent Mage deck, if it goes first, almost cannot lose in Arena. And I think that is pretty messed up. I think we are, in this regard, in a pretty crappy spot in Arena play. So what has led to this? And this is where some of my complaints with regard to some of the cards that have recently been released in One Night in Karazhan kind of unfold. So my biggest complaint was regarding, I guess it was regarding Purify, because they made Purify common, and then they made a card like Onyx Bishop rare, and you have to keep in mind, in an adventure mode, you get the cards anyway. It's not like they're rarer if they have a rare tag there. The only reason a card would be rare, common, or epic as part of an adventure would be to, drop the percentages in the spread for drafting them in Arena. So if classes were bad, you would want them to get good cards in the common slot and bad cards in the rare slot. And if the classes were really good, you would want those classes to receive really bad cards in the common slot and really good cards in the high rarity slot, or just not good cards at all in some cases. But that's not what's happening. They gave a card like Purify in the common slot, which is like the worst card ever in Hearthstone in my opinion, and they put a card that's actually good for Priest in the rare slot, so they won't actually get it very often, so get wrecked, basically. Priest, which is the worst class in Arena, just got even more destroyed than what it is now. But let's talk about Mages. Mages kind of got the opposite of that. They got Fire Lands Portal, and there was a little bit of discussion regarding this card. A lot of people said the card probably isn't going to be that good. I said the card is going to be that good. I think the card was quite comparable to Fire Elemental, which is one of the best common cards in the entire game. And in Arena, you have to keep in mind, a good class common card is the most important thing you can have. If there's like a good neutral card in the common slot that's particularly good for your class, it's still not as good because class cards in Arena show up twice as often. So if you have really good common class cards, that pushes that class immensely in terms of the, average results you can expect to get from playing Arena with it. So a card like Firelands Portal, I said was about as good as Fire Elemental, and the statistics aren't necessarily in, but Hearth Arena, even though not many people have played, they don't have that many stats throughout like the week that is One Night in Karazhan so far, it seems like it is about as good as that. Okay, it seems like it's about as good as Flame Strike. It could be maybe better than Flame Strike. It's possible. It's within the margin of error. So Mages, which were the best class in Arena leading up to One Night in Karazhan, got a card that is as good as the all-time best class common card in the game. What? Why did that happen? So the devs responded, and they said that, Mages seem to get two pretty good cards and one pretty bad card, and one of the good cards we had to drop it in the common slot so it fits in the theme of two commons cards and one rare cards that was released in One Night in Karazhan. And the rare card in question was Babbling Book, which again we haven't played Babbling Book, so I could be wrong, but I would bet money that Babbling Book is easily the worst of the three cards, and they put it in the rare slot, so I think that's crap. The other card is the 2-mana 2/3 that does damage if you have a secret. Now, 2-mana 2/3 doesn't seem like a great deal if you don't have a secret, but in Arena, consistently getting early game is a very big part. It allows you to more aggressively get high-quality cards in the early parts of your draft. I actually think this card is very good. But my point is, Firelands Portal is easily the best card in the entire expansion, by the way, when it comes to arena play, it was given to Mage, and it was given in the common slot. So what is going on here? And this process seemed to repeat in many different stages throughout a lot of the other classes as well. Rogue, being the great class that it was, got a bunch of really good common cards again. Wow. And some of the other classes, the opposite happened, like Priest, however, I mentioned. So it seemed like the rarity is really messed up, and there's literally no cost here, right? So let's take a look at a card like Firelands Portal. Why don't we just make it epic? Who cares, right? Like, it's part of an adventure. You get it for killing a boss. You don't open it from a pack. You might craft it, but would you really? Like, yeah, so you can't craft like Nax cards. You can't do the Nax adventure. You have to craft the Nax cards. So, the value of a rarity on a card that's part of an adventure really only has to do with crafting that card 2 years later. The 2 years later crafting meta is affected if we make Firelands Portal an epic card. However, if we make it a common card, we fuck over Arena for like a few years. So which one of those do you think you would probably want to go with? That's really the part where it really blows my mind, and I really want to just put that out there so we can more critically be thinking and criticizing what Blizzard is doing with the game. And I also decided to go back and check out some of the other expansions to see some of the rarity balancing. And from what I saw, there's actually a very interesting moment where things suddenly, very suddenly in fact, went really downhill. And this is also reflected in that video I mentioned with going first versus going second. Going first versus going second was about a 4% difference, 4 to 5% difference up until TGT, Grand Tournament. And Grand Tournament, it like doubled. They went to like 8%. And I couldn't really figure out what that was, aside from, Inspire cards are very, very snowbally. But it also appeared to me, because I went back, I wanted to make kind of like a video and tell people, it's like, why don't we make these cards rare? Why don't we make these cards common? I have a few examples to show you guys. But I realized that when I was looking at the adventures that are Naxxramas, and even Blackrock was like perfect. They were really good. The classes that were good in Arena at the time got crappy cards in the common slot and good cards in the high rarity slots, and the classes that sucked in Arena during those expansions, they got what they needed. So it seemed like Blizzard, in terms of design, was doing a really good job up until where TGT happened. TGT happened, and League of Explorers happened, and Whispers of the Old Gods happened, and now we have One Eye and Karazhan happening, and those expansions were terrible. Not bad, terrible when it comes to balancing the card's rarity when considering for arena play. And a few examples, Ethereal Conjure, this card should not be common. This card should easily be rare. I mean, is it really that simple of a card? It's not. It's not a simple card. You get it in an adventure, okay? We're talking about crafting meta two years from now, but instead it pushes mages even further in Arena because it's so powerful. Instead, you can make a card like Animated Armor, which is really not that good, and mages already have enough 4-drops. You can put that in the common slot if you want, by the way. That'll actually make mages a little bit worse, and that's kind of what you want to do, so that's how you balance the classes, and there's no cost of doing this. We talk about how Priest is like the worst thing ever in Construct. It is the worst thing ever in Arena as well. Priest actually got a board clear in League of Explorers, but they made it a rare. Why did they make it a rare? Priest in League of Explorers was the worst class then as well, but they gave him a board clear, which is exactly what they need, but they put it in the rare slot. So you don't actually get it. Why is Excavated Evil a rare and not a common? I don't understand it. So, there's a lot of these frustrations. If you look through the cards, you'll see for yourself that there's a stark drop right when TGT hits when it comes to consideration for arena balance, and we gotta get it back. We gotta be vocal. When we see Blizzard printing bullshit like Firelands Portal in the common slot, we gotta speak up because they're listening. But if we don't say anything, the game that we love so much is going to slowly go downhill. So, with you guys and your voices, we can make a change. We can kind of show Blizzard what we want. And I'm hoping that you guys are with me, that we kind of want an arena system where, in this case, Mage after 7 wins, if they go first, could actually lose games. I would rather play a game that you could beat players like that, you know? I think that would be fun. Let me know what you think. Hope you guys have enjoyed yet another rant, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.